Hi guys, got a very controversial topic. So, if you saw my recent short, Apple versus Android. So, which side are you? Me, I'm always Android. Have been, always will be. I'm never going back to Apple, but that does not mean that Apple isn't great. Apple makes amazing products from their phones to their computers to their tablets. AirPods, not so much. But I'm picky at that point. So, what this video is really about is everybody fighting with each other about Android over Apple. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I'm an Android person through and through. Apple makes great products. They each have their pros and cons. Like Apple, their pros are going to be they have a very, very like well-polished ecosystem and like software, because whenever somebody makes an app, it has to be approved and authorized by Apple to be put on their app store. So it has to be very well optimized. It has to make sure that it's super secure and it just works. Android is open source. So apps can be a little buggier, but everybody can make an app. Everybody can make a phone and put Android on it. That's why there's the Nothing phone and all these different brands. I mean, Samsung is top, but there's so many more out there. I mean, and then whenever it comes to as far as like the ecosystem, Samsung is pretty much up there with Apple now. Because I mean, they have Samsung computers, they have the Samsung headphones, they have the Samsung tablets, the Samsung watches. So there is a huge ecosystem for Samsung now. And of course, with Samsung, in Android, they actually paired up with Windows to make a Your Phone app, kind of like how Apple has their ecosystem with their computer, where you get a text message, it shows up on there. Same thing for Windows now. So you're not left out there. So Apple, you can't hold that against Android, and Android, you can't say that you did it first. Just stop. Now, I mean, my big thing with like Apple is their services. So for instance, whenever I went from my Android phone to the iPhone 12 Pro Max, I had to switch all my services over. So I like to do YouTube Premium because I hate ads, and I had to switch that over. Apple charges more. They charge a premium because you're using a Google service on an Apple service. They charge more, and it kind of locks you to it. And what I mean by that is when I wanted to go back to Android, I had to get all of my services and move them back over to Android. I had to use the exact same phone that I transferred the services to get to basically cancel the service so I could redo it on an Android device. But if you don't know that, which I didn't, and a lot of people don't, you are kind of stuck. You have to contact Apple, have them delete every single Apple ID account, so it will basically release the service for the like YouTube service or whatever Google service you're using. It'll release it so you can redo it on Google's side. So they make it a little bit more difficult to go back. They want to try and keep you. That's the bad thing. One of the biggest bad things about Apple. One of the biggest bad things about Android is you have to have two different types of accounts. Like say I have a Samsung, or I have a OnePlus, or I have a different company's phone. I have to have an account with their company plus Google. So you have to remember and manage two different accounts. If you forget one password, it might not be the best thing for the other one. So that's the biggest thing there, like the biggest caveat. Now, really good things about both of them is they both basically challenge each other to innovate. I mean, Apple does tend to like fall behind a little bit. It's just because they have to very well optimize it for their phone. Like for instance, when Apple came out with the notch, of course, Samsung never followed in their footsteps, other than like say with their lower end phones, they had like the teardrop. So they came out with the hole punch. Few years later, Apple came out with Dynamic Island hole punch camera. So they do copy each other. So I mean, can't say that one does way more than the next. Now I will admit, and I will stand behind this too. Samsung comes out with a lot of stuff first. They came out with waterproof phones first. They came out with always on display. They came out with a bunch of other things that Apple did copy. But Samsung also copied a lot of stuff that Apple did. As far as like the swipe up feature, whenever you want to, you can get rid of the home buttons and stuff like that, and you can just swipe up. And I like that. I'm a big fan of that. I'm not the biggest fan on like punch hole cameras and notches for both Samsung and Android, or both Samsung and Apple. Get it right, Nick. But yeah, I mean, they both copy each other. Let's just put that to the side. They both do it. So my big thing, the whole reason I'm making this video is just because I want people to understand both sides are good. Both sides are secure. Both sides copy each other. Both sides have good hardware. Both sides have downsides. Just get it through your thick skulls, please. I love y'all, and I just want y'all to enjoy each other's friendship. Stop fighting over green bubbles. Stop saying we did it first. And just enjoy what you have. Enjoy your company. Enjoy your phones. Enjoy your computers. And love each other. That's all. So, yeah, make sure you get subscribed so you can catch the next video whenever I put it out, because I'm pumping them out like crazy now. But yeah, until next time, though, love y'all. Stay blessed.
Going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay.